parents, it is now easier, quicker and safer to buy your new used vehicle online. Whether you're on the computer, tablet or phone, you can browse our stock from the comfort of your own home. Refine and filter your search online by make, model and even budget. When browsing, you'll be able to see pictures, videos and a 360 view of the car you've selected. Your dedicated sales specialist will be on hand to send you a personalised walk-around video answering any questions you may have. You can use our digital finance calculator to tailor the car to a budget that suits you. Alternatively, you can speak to a member of our team via telephone, email, live chat or virtual appointment. Reserving your car online for £99 is simple, affordable and refundable. We ensure that every car is sanitised for safety and peace of mind before handover.
Make sure they try and keep away from our vehicles.
Barracks, in partnership with Kent County Cricket Club. Together, we are Kent.
Echo, David.
I know what you're doing, that's the thing. 73 there.
Yeah, I said 2, 3. So you just listen.
200. and gentlemen, hello there, good afternoon. Welcome to the Spitfire grounds in Lawrence. Welcome back. It's the first time we've seen some of you for ages. It's great to have you back in the ground for the start of the Vitality Blast 2021 with the Kent Spitfires taking on the Hampshire Hawks from 7 o'clock this evening. Now, during these COVID times, there are 1 or 2 rules and regs in place. Let's keep everybody safe here at the Spitfire ground this evening. We ask you please to wear a face covering when you're moving around the ground to access any of the facilities. Face coverings can be removed when you're sitting down. Social distancing still very much a legal requirement. So please make sure you're in your allocated seat with one seat between you and the next person. If you're queuing for any of the facilities at all, please allow space between you and others. Try to avoid congregating in groups, and please remain in your allocated zone at all times. You will find some one-way systems in operation. Keep an eye out for these. Appreciate your help in keeping us all safe. And at the end of the game, the stewards will ask you for your assistance in exiting the ground so we can avoid large groupings of people coming together. The stewards will ask you to wait in your seats and leave one block at a time. Should you need to light up at all, the smoking area for Zone A is outside the main entrance by Sainsbury's. Smoking area for Zone B at the back of the Colin Cowrie stands. Please do stay at the playing area at all times. Before the match, afterwards, during the interval. We don't want anyone getting hurt tonight, so pay attention to the playing area at all times. Should you need to be evacuated from the ground, please follow the direction of the safety stewards. Don't leave any bags unattended. And if you require medical assistance, contact the nearest steward. We have a medical team in ground who will be able to help you out, but hopefully you won't be needing that. We're looking forward to the start of the Vitality Blast 2021 at the Spitfire ground as the Kent Spitfires take on the Hampshire Hawks. Each match is played by 2 teams of 11 players. Some are batters, some are bowlers, and there's 1 wicket-keeper. Both teams have a chance to bat and bowl. Look out for the coin toss. That's how they decide which team bats or bowls first. Each team has 20 overs to score as many runs as possible. The team with the most runs wins the game. 1 over is made up of 6 good deliveries from the bowler. To score runs, batters hit the ball and run between the stumps. If the ball reaches the boundary, it's 4 runs. And if it gets there without bouncing, that's a 6. While the batting team is scoring runs, the bowling team are trying to stop them and get the batters out by taking wickets. A few ways batters can be out are bowled, caught, run out, stumped, and LBW. Watch out for signals from the umpires, 4s, 6s, wickets, and these when a bad delivery has been bowled. Bad deliveries add runs to the batting team's score, and the bowler must bowl an extra ball. If you see the umpire doing this, the next ball is a free hit, and the batter cannot be out, bowled, caught, LBW, or stumped. And those are all the basics you need to know to get behind your team in this year's Vitality Blast competition.
them there. See that lady in the blue and the green?
Well, after a season behind closed.
Great to have you back with us at the Spitfire grounds St Lawrence for the start of the Vitality Blast 2021. The Kent Spitfires take on the Hampshire Hawks at 7 o'clock this evening. The toss will be coming up at 6:30. Details of that toss and a confirmed team news for you shortly afterwards. During these COVID times, we do ask you please to pop on a face mask. If you are moving around the ground and heading for any of the facilities, you can take it off whilst you're in your allocated seats. Please make sure that you have one seat between you and the next person. Social distancing still very much in place. And at the end of the game, the stewards will ask you for your assistance in exiting the ground so we can avoid large groupings of people coming together. Scorecards are available from the club shop in Zone B and also from a pop-up shop on the big screen in Zone A. The Spitfire grounds in Lawrence now a cash-free venue, so payment for scorecards and everything else will be by card and mobile device. No punch-and match guides available for this fixture. The digital version is available at kentcricket.co.uk. Should you need the facilities, toilet zone A to the right of the big screen and accessible toilets in the Lantry Cafe for zone B, they're behind the fine grueling stand and also behind floodlight number 4. If you're getting a bit thirsty, a bit peckish, tonight's food and beverage outlets open for you at Zone A are Oriole at the Lime Tree Cafe, Rad Chicken behind the big screen, 2 Spitfire bars available for you within the Lime Tree Cafe, and also the Spitfire trailer behind the big screen. If you're in Zone B, and remember please at all times to stay in your allocated zone. Well, in Zone B we've got Taste of Thai, Rad Burger, and the Spitfire Beer Marquee, which is on the bank of Zone B. Kent Cricket would like to acknowledge its principal and lead partners. Shepherd Neame, our official beer suppliers, the major sponsor of the Spitfires Vitality Blast team, and indeed the Spitfire grounds in Lawrence. We also thank Black Opal Travel Group, who look after our county championship team. WW Martin, sponsor of the Royal London Cup side. Our thanks also to FGS Plant, Barrett's Motor Group, our official training kit partner, and Samurai, the official kit suppliers to Kent Cricket.
Well, hello there, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Spitfire Ground, St Lawrence. Welcome to the start of the Vitality Blast 2021 as the Kent Spitfires against the Hampshire Hawks. Back to being the Hawks here at the Spitfire Ground this evening. Welcoming ground and welcome wherever you are watching around the world on the live stream. This is why Dave Fulton, former Kent captain, is next to me here. You'll be taking care of the stream this evening. Isn't it great to be here with the sun out, people in, start of the blast, life is back.
Yeah, life is getting back, Steve, isn't it? Welcome, everybody. Fantastic to be here. Sun is out, and we've had such lousy weather, haven't we, first couple of months of the season, so just terrific to be here with not a cloud in the sky, and the boys looking in decent fettle as well. Quite a few coming back from injury, so yeah, really hoping that we see a strong Kent performance and a cracking game of cricket, and most importantly, the fans are back, of course.
Well, I think we will see a cracking game of cricket, will we not? Hampshire look to be particularly strong this year. Got a very good, impressive lineup, a decent squad, a deep squad. We've got de Grandhomme to come, of course, later in the summer, looking like Pat Sharp.
I know, missing that mullet. I was really hoping to see the de Grandhomme mullet tonight, but we'll just have to watch it in the Test series, won't we, for the time being?
The fun house. Pat Sharp, Colin de Grandhomme. So he'll be joining Hampshire Hawks, who've got a very strong lineup. But don't forget, the last 2 seasons, Kent Spitfires have played some terrific Vitality Blast T20 cricket. Some sort of replication of that form. No reason why they can't go well again this year.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Quarter-finalists last year, obviously the group formats changed slightly. We go back to 2 groups of 9 as opposed to the 3 groups of 6, which will bring its own dynamic because you welcome back the likes of Somerset and Gloucestershire, so there are some good teams that played in a different group last year. But yeah, you'd look at this squad on paper. You've got Sam Billings to come back. You've got Adam Milne, of course, terrific news that he will be joining up with the Spitfires again. So lots of talent, but you look across the counties and there's not really a bad team, not just in this group, but countrywide. Teams are taking this competition really seriously. 1 or 2 obviously haven't gone so well in the Championship, and I obviously include Kent in that, which puts extra onus on the T20 Blast. And these games coming thick and fast. 5 games in a week, 3 at home, and then trips to Taunton and Cardiff. So you want to hit the ground running, Steve.
Well, the cliche, of course, is shackles, isn't it? I'm sure you got the shackles word in with one of your interviews that we're going to see shortly. But as you say, Championship cricket hasn't exactly been going exactly as Kent would have liked so far this season. This is a terrific opportunity to get those ropes off, get a bit free, get those arms moving. And as we mentioned earlier, no reason, if you look at the form of the last 2 years, why the Spitfires can't go well.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a very decent white ball side. Having said that, I thought they were a very decent red ball side, but 1 or 2 things have gone against them. Injuries as well haven't helped. The good news is that people are coming back to full fettle. Freddie Klassen is back from Holland, so there's a lot of strength in this Kent squad. But I think the key will be how they start. 3 games at home to kick things off. I don't know if any other county has that opportunity, so it'll be terrific to play at home and in front of people, and I think that's what the boys have really been missing. On the subject of fans, here's what Director of Cricket Paul Downton had to say.
We're delighted to be joined by Paul Downton, Director of Cricket. Paul, after a season behind closed doors, how excited are the squad to be playing in front of a live crowd again, and what difference does it make?
Yeah, really excited. I think there's a real buzz about the place, and T20 isn't the same without crowd. It's odd to think a year ago, you know, we played afternoon fixtures, no one was here, and it is different. And the players, they just thrive off the adrenaline, the noise, getting involved. So yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting tonight.
And we can't mention the squad without mentioning the return of Steve-O to our Vitality Blast T20 squad. Talk to us about that decision.
Yeah, Steve-O returns for the first time, I think, in 3 or even 4 years, actually. The key about Steve-O is that he's in great form, and he's actually worked on his batting more than he's ever worked on his batting. He's got a great relationship with Mike Yardy. He's really trusting his defence now, and the reward's been fantastic. So he's our leading wicket taker, our leading run scorer, and he's played every game so far in the Championship. So, you know, I think it'd be great for him. He's been badgering us about playing T20 for quite some time, and now he's got the opportunity to, compete again, which is great.
And talking about individual performances, over the past week we've seen centuries and half centuries from Marley Robinson, Joe Denley. What is the feeling in the changing room at the moment?
Yeah, there's no denying, the first half of the season's been difficult. But since then, I think we have started to see some really good performances. Ollie's 100 here was magnificent to watch, Coxey as well. Joe Denley getting back into some form. Of course, Fred Klaasen's been playing for the Netherlands the last 3 days, has been their match winner in their wins against Ireland, which has been great. Matt Milne's returning and Grant Stewart returning from fitness issues. So, we're really buzzing and really looking forward to it.
And we're in a tough group. What do you think our chances are at this early stage?
I think it's all about momentum. We want to get off to a good start, but we also know that if things don't quite go right in the first couple of games, our England players, Sam Billings and Zach Crawley, will come back. Case Ahmed is due to arrive on Sunday, and hopefully will be here for the third game. And Adam Milne at the end of the year. So we've got some reinforcements coming, but listen, I'm very excited about the players we got now and the form they're in. So looking for a win tonight.
Brilliant. And just one final message to the crowds who have turned up today for the first time since 2019.
Yeah, brilliant. Great to see you. Thank you for your coming. I know it's been quite an ordeal managing it, getting to know all these COVID protocols, but hopefully we'll make it a worthwhile night for you. So enjoy it.
Thanks very much, Paul.
Yeah, just like to echo that. Becca Smith there, the media lady in charge here at Kent, asking the questions and some good ones as well. We could be out of a job here, Steve. But yeah, fascinated to hear from the director of cricket there. Lots of talent to come back. Zach Crawley, Sam Billings, Adam Milne, Case Ahmed arriving at the weekend. But one man who always features in Championship cricket for Kent, and wonderful to see him back at the age of 45, is of course is Darren Stevens. What can we expect tonight from Steve-O?
Well, it was interesting, wasn't it, that Paul Downton said he's been badgering me about playing T20 cricket, and quite rightly so. I was lucky enough to be here for the championship match against Glamorgan when he biffed 190 off not very many balls. My goodness, it was very windy that day, exceptionally windy, but the ball was going absolutely miles at times. So, look, just on form alone, with the bat alone, right? We know what he does with the ball. Just with the bat this season, get Darren Stevens in 2 or 3 overs of that sort of hitting is going to do serious damage. We know that he's probably going to bowl 4 tight overs. Would any other county want Darren Stevens in their team? If you forget age, which you were so rude about, but if you forget age, just put that to one side. Would you want Darren? Would you look at his stats? Would you look at his career and think, I want him in my T20 side? Absolutely, yes. So it's quite right he's been badgering Paul Downton. On one other subject, you talked about players to come back. It reminds me a bit of last year's Blast. Do you remember when players kept coming back from international duty, and we saw Zach Crawley, of course, was seeing it like a beach ball last year. He was absolutely fantastic when he came back into the team. Something similar this year with some big names to come back in. It's been a tricky old time, hasn't it, trying to secure overseas players and COVID restrictions and all that sort of stuff. But as you mentioned, Case Ahmed to come in at the weekend. Adam Milne has already been a terrific servant for Kent in T20 cricket. I think it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and you mentioned Zach Crawley there. Hampshire will be delighted that Zach Crawley is not playing, because not only did he get a very fine 100 at the Ageas Bowl in the reverse fixture last year, he got 100 against Hampshire here in the Championship. So they'll be pleased to see the back of him. So he will obviously feature in a couple of weeks when he gets his Test cricket out the way. The same for Sam Billings. But in the absence of Sam Billings, I'm really intrigued to see how Daniel Bell-Drummond goes, both from a playing perspective and his captaincy, which has really impressed me last year and has impressed me so far in the Championship, even though he hasn't had everything his own way. I was able to catch up with Daniel a little bit earlier. Daniel, first thing to say, ground looks an absolute picture. We're going to get fans back. Just how excited?
Really excited. I can speak for everyone. It's been a while coming. Great to have some fans in the 4-day stuff. But yeah, moving on to the T20s, can't wait to have the fans back cheering us on. So it's a big day.
Yeah, because the weather's been so rubbish, isn't it? First kind of 6-7 weeks it was so cold, there's been loads of rain around. It's like the blast has arrived and the weather's playing ball.
I know, it was a horrible few months at the start of the year weather-wise. A lot of hand warmers and snoods, but no, it's great that the sun's popped out, and just in time for some T20 action as well. So no, we can't wait, and it's good to be at home as well.
Yeah, just talk us through this next week, because I think it's 3 home games in a row, and then you've got back-to-back away games at Taunton and Cardiff. 5 games in a week. That's a pretty tough schedule, even though they are only 20-over matches. I
know it is. Obviously, we've been going quite hard in the 4-day stuff as well, so it'll be nothing we're not used to. But no, it is a heavy start to the schedule, and we'll have to be on form, because as we've seen, the tournament goes quickly either way. So hopefully we can start how we did last year and get off to a positive start.
To what extent does the disappointing championship campaign to date put more pressure on this 2020 Blast campaign?
It's a good question. For me personally, I just think it's a new competition. We'll approach it completely differently, as it should be. But no, the guys have been hitting the ball well in the nets. The bowlers have been going through their plans nicely. So, no, hopefully we can take in some confidence from the training, and we did have a few good performances in the last couple 4-day games. So, no, we're looking forward to a change of format for sure.
Yeah, does the change of format kind of unshackle you as a batsman as well? Early season, ball nibbling around. We know what you did last year. You know, 400 plus runs, striking at 150. Can you just yourself and the rest of the batsmen who found it tough at the top of the order just go see ball, hit ball?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the aim of the game, isn't it? You have to get on with it. So. No, I'll definitely be doing that myself, and yeah, the other guys will for sure. I think, yeah, it's a completely different format, but like I say, you have to go for your shots, and I quite enjoyed doing that, so I'm looking forward to this Blast campaign.
And we've had some positive news with Adam Milne. It's a shame about Mohammed Amir, and that, you know, obviously the PSL kind of means he's going to play in that, and he's not going to be over. But to welcome Adam Milne back for the second half of this 2020 show is fantastic news. He's played a number of years here before. Feels like a Spitfire, Adam Milne.
Absolutely, he's a cap player for us. He's definitely a Spitfire, and no, it's great to have him back. He's a world-class bowler, and when fit, he'd be straight back in that New Zealand team. So it's great to see him over with us again, and no, we can't wait to add that quality into our team as well, because someone like him is not around the world. They aren't around, so it's great that we can get him back for sure.
And it'd be good to get Sam Billings back as well, wouldn't it? I mean, he must be fed up with kind of carrying drinks and doing 12th man. Great to see him involved in an England squad, but I guess Kent players just want to see him play cricket and get back out in the middle doing what he does best.
Absolutely, I think he's the first on that list. He wants to play cricket. Obviously, he's had a brilliant winter and he's enjoying himself with the England Test team. But for sure, I'm pretty sure he wants to just get out there and take his good form from the nets into the middle. And we'll definitely be seeing that soon for sure, I hope.
Well over 1,000 fans in tonight. We mentioned it's going to be great for them to be back watching cricket, great for you guys to play in front of them, but obviously we're going to be going out on the stream. For those who can't be here, what's the message to the Kent fans? How are Kent going to approach this tournament?
No, it will be exciting and positive as it was last year. Hopefully we can go that bit further, but no, for me personally, just we're going to try and play as freely as possible and make it enjoyable for the fans, and yeah, try and win as many games of cricket as possible.
Go well. Wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
423 runs at a strike rate of 155 for Daniel Bell-Drummond in last year's competition. He is a fine talent indeed. That is him out in the middle with our umpires and the opposition captain, James Vince. So as soon as we get news of the toss and the lineups, we will bring it to you. But Steve, you look out there at the moment, it doesn't appear to be any great advantage batting or bowling. Just got to play well on a night like tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what your opinion on this is, the toss in T20 cricket. I don't know how overplayed. Some teams just like to bat first and some teams like to chase. Other than that, I'm not sure how important it is. You mentioned just before we heard from Daniel Bell-Drummond, you're interested to see how he goes this season, both as skipper and as batsman. Well, I think we had our answer the last 2 years, haven't we? He's had long stints in charge of the team. He's certainly performed with the bat, and I think he's certainly excelled at times as a captain, so I don't think there's any particular worries there. The other skipper, of course, James Vince, seems to have been around forever and still isn't very old. So they'll be cracking on with the toss shortly, but Daniel Bell-Drummond in charge of the Kent Spitfires for the time being, and what a very, very able replacement he is for Sam Billings.
Yes, indeed. As I say, we will bring you news of that toss in just a short while. Now, tonight on the stream, those of you watching on the stream, we have a certain Geraint Jones, MBE, who's going to be stepping in. Steve is going to go and entertain the masses on the big screen and do what he does best around the ground. So you'll hear plenty of his voice if you are here at the Spitfire ground tonight. But Geraint Jones is going to be joining us on the stream really shortly, and we will bring you news of that toss. In the meantime, we'd like to thank all our partners and sponsors, and we've got a few ads for you. Back in a bit. So Steve Watts has made way, and as promised, Geraint Jones, MBE, is alongside me. We're going to hear from him in just a minute, but we've got news from the middle. Hampshire have won the toss and elected to bowl first. Here is the Kent 11. Daniel Bell-Drummond captaining Joe Denley, Ollie Robinson. Kent's Ollie Robinson, we should say, after what's been a tricky week for him. Alex Blake, Jack Leaning, Jordan Cox, Darren Stevens back in after that 4-year absence, Grant Stewart, Matt Milnes, James Logan, who was just announced a little while ago, left-arm spinner who's impressed for the second team. He's straight into the team. Remember, Imran Kayum retiring earlier this season. Freddie Klassen makes up the team. As for Hampshire, James Vince, Australian Darcy Short, big-hitting batsman, Sam Northeast, Joe Weatherly, Liam Dawson, James Fuller, Lewis McManus, the keeper, Ian Holland, Chris Wood, Mason Crane and Brad Wheel. So that is the team. I will hand Becca her phone back and she can go and pass that on. But Geraint, first thing to say is two strong-looking teams. Great to have you with us. How's it feel to be back at the Spitfire ground? Sun's out, two good sides in front of you.
It's good to be back. The sun's out, but we're not in it. That's why I've put my coat on. But yeah, no, I was lucky enough to be here Sunday doing a bit of commentary on the last day of the 4-day match, and just to see fans in the ground. Come back into the ground myself after a couple of years away, so it was fantastic. And like you say, two really strong sides who have done well over the last few seasons in this format, and especially Kent. You know, this is probably what they've been waiting for all summer long so far. Not the greatest of start in the championship, but you know, have got a really good record in T20 cricket. So I'm looking forward to it. So seeing a few faces I recognise and a few new ones. Someone who's literally just been signed a couple of hours ago.
Yeah, signed a couple of hours ago, James Logan, 23 years of age, and of course Darren Stevens back into the team at 45. Two men at very different stages of their career, at very different ends of their career, but two men who hope to have an impact. Darren Stevens, I'm sure, will be a little bit nervous. There's a crowd back, which he thrives in front of normally, but it's a big game for him. But what an opportunity for a 23-year-old. You sign and then bang, you're straight out there in a blast match in front of over 1,000 people.
Yeah, absolutely, and it probably shows a bit where Kent are struggling with the spinners. You know, Imran Kayum has unfortunately had to retire, and he's contributed a bit over the last few years, but they haven't had someone probably since James Treadwell to actually be a regular in the side. So yeah, fantastic opportunity to start here at home. Gets 3 matches to get used to the slope, and you know, he has performed well for the second 11, so he'll know a few of the guys anyway. And then, yeah, you talked about the old stager in Steve-O as well. He's had an unbelievable season. But there's one as well is Alex Blake. He's one we don't see in red ball cricket anymore. This is his time of year. He's just a white ball player, but he's an incredible one, and he's been proven to be a match winner over the last few years. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. I just saw him briefly and said, waiting for those sixes over cover, and he sort of cheekily said, hopefully.
Yeah, I called up with him a little bit earlier as well, just by the boundary boards here, and yeah, he said, same thing that you just said. My time of year, two months is effectively what he plays for per summer, and the club cricketers have been going for 2 or 3 months already. This is his time, and he kind of couldn't have timed it better, really. April, May was filthy, wasn't it? Raining and cold, and Blakey's just rocked up, sun's out. He's going to go and whack a ball around and hopefully turn his arm over as well, which was very much his second string, but one that came in useful last year. And I guess with Blake, with James Logan, and with a bit of Joe Denley as well, Case Ahmed to come, the Afghanistan spinner, they all of a sudden that weakness in the spin department could funnily enough become a strength.
Yeah, and you need that in T20 cricket, absolutely. And I see Jack Leaning's bowled a bit in Championship cricket as well, so I think they'll probably take a match or two to find their best bowling lineup. Rob Key, when I played with him, he used to always talk about getting into the rhythm of each season of T20. You have a bit of an idea, but ultimately it takes its time for you to work out as a team what's the best method, and Kent have got some new players, and that's what this first match or two will be all about. What's our best way to do it? And but it's interesting that Hampshire have chosen to chase tonight. You'd think with the sun out straight away that you'd put a big total on the scoreboard, but obviously it's something they've talked about and something they fancy doing.
Yeah, teams have their preferred options, don't they? But you're right. Some teams go into T20 campaigns with a kind of prescribed formula, and others work it out as they go along. And sometimes, if you react to what happens, you suddenly win first couple of games batting first, putting totals on the board, squeezing a team. That can become your method, can't it? But I mean, you've won this competition, of course, back at Edgbaston a long time ago now. I was there watching that one. But just how important is the blast to players, or how important has the blast become?
I think that's the important bit, how important it's become. When first started off, it was not taken seriously at all. And then, as with a lot of things, the introduction of some prize money changed everyone's thoughts on it, and all of a sudden it was a serious competition which people were wanting to win, and there's also a few extra sort of bonuses when you won it, some trips that you got to be on. So it's very much become, you could arguably say, what people live for now in terms of the middle of the summer. The crowds are you know, we've got a reduced crowd in, but you know, they're usually full capacities, lively, you know, of an evening. So yeah, as a player, I imagine it's incredible to be part of. You know, I sort of saw that a bit when I was playing in my career, but I think it's evolved now even more, that everyone comes along and they're expecting a bit of a party and runs to flow and some spectacular fielding, and it's just become a really sort of energetic game to come and watch, and the crowd feeds off that.
Well, looking forward to hearing much more from Jonesy as the evening progresses. Just a reminder that Hampshire have won the toss. They're going to bowl first. And just in case you're new to this whole business of T20 cricket, here are some rules explained for you.
Each match is played by 2 teams of 11 players. Some are batters, some are bowlers, and there's 1 wicket-keeper. Both teams have a chance to bat and bowl. Look out for the coin toss. That's how they decide which team bats or bowls first. Each team has 20 overs to score as many runs as possible. The team with the most runs wins the game. 1 over is made up of 6 good deliveries from the bowler. To score runs, batters hit the ball and run between the stumps. If the ball reaches the boundary, it's 4 runs, and if it gets there without bouncing, that's a 6. While the batting team is scoring runs, the bowling team are trying to stop them and get the batters out by taking wickets. A few ways batters can be out are bowled, caught, run out, stumped, and LBW. Watch out for signals from the umpires, 4s, 6s, wickets, and these when a bad delivery has been bowled. Bad deliveries add runs to the batting team's score, and the bowler must bowl an extra ball. If you see the umpire doing this, the next ball is a free hit, and the batter cannot be out, bowled, caught, LBW, or stumped. And those are all the basics you need to know to get behind your team in this year's Vitality Blast competition.
Barrett's, it is now easier, quicker and safer to buy your new used vehicle online. Whether you're on the computer, tablet or phone, you can browse our stock from the comfort of your own home. Refine and filter your search online by make, model and even budget. When browsing, you'll be able to see pictures, videos and a 360 view of the car you've selected. Your dedicated sales specialist will be on hand to send you a personalised walk-around video answering any questions you may have. You can use our digital finance calculator to tailor the car to a budget that suits you. Alternatively, you can speak to a member of our team via telephone, email, live chat or virtual appointments. Reserving your car online for £99 is simple, affordable and refundable. We ensure that every car is sanitised for your safety and peace of mind before handover. Barrett's, in partnership with Kent County Cricket Club. Together, we are Kent.
Terrific to have you back with us at the Spitfire grounds, St Lawrence, for a new season of the Vitality Blast. During these times, there are some COVID measures in place. We ask you please to wear a face covering when you're moving around the ground and accessing any of the facilities. Social distancing very much in place. Please make sure you're in your allocated seat with one seat between you and the next person, and allow space between you and others if you are queuing for any of the facilities.
Spitfire ground looking an absolute picture. Great to see fans in. I've got Geraint Jones, Ashes winner, T20 Blast winner alongside me, and it's just so encouraging, Geraint, to see life getting back to normal, I guess.
Yeah, it is. You know, in the summer you expect to be able to go and watch the cricket, and you know the way that Kent have been playing over the last few years, people have been waiting to come in and watch them play T20 cricket. So I was just having a chat with Simon, the chief exec, about what's had to be done to get matches on, and you know, sort of halve the ground so that you can have that safety and social distancing. So it's you know, people want to come and watch, but clubs have really had to work hard to be able to get them in. But it's fantastic to see people walking around, pint in hand, you know, a bit of the sponsors' product. So it's fantastic. It gives a good vibe.
Yeah, it certainly does, and if my director Matt doesn't mind, maybe cutting back to some of these lovely shots of the grounds rather than keep seeing my nearly 50-year-old mug. That's better. That looks nicer, doesn't it? Got the ground in the Frank Woolley stand. Looks a little quiet, doesn't it? But around the ground there are people in. I should also name check the Oriole Lime Tree Cafe behind us here from our commentary position, because they have done fantastic Indian food tonight, T20 Indian food, and they've been looking after us. And Geraint, know you haven't been here quite as long as I have, but I've been tucking in, and I do recommend it. So get involved there. But look, they're the fans. They're already lapping up the atmosphere. For some of these ardent Kent fans, just to be back at the Spitfire ground watching their beloved Kent in action. And for those of you who can't make it, who are watching on the stream, thank you for joining us. We really do appreciate it, and hopefully you can get to a game before too long. Some people, of course, watching from far-flung corners of the world. We had people from Japan and Melbourne and America last year, so if you're watching, do tell us where you're watching from at Kent Cricket. Tweet us, and if you've got anything more interesting than what I've got to say, do tweet us, and we will try and read out some of your comments. Hopefully we'll see a terrific Kent performance, but wonderful to see the fans back, and what promises to be a tremendous game here this evening. Just a reminder of what happened at the toss. It was won by James Vince, who elected to bowl first. Just to bring these sides to you. Kent, captained by Daniel Bell-Drummond, of course, in the absence of Sam Billings. He's still with that test squad, but he will join up in a week or so's time, by which time quite a few games would have elapsed. I have to say, 5 games in a week for Kent, 3 at home, and then trips to Taunton and Cardiff. But Daniel Bell-Drummond, captain. Joe Denley, Ollie Robinson keeping wicket. Alex Blake, white ball contract only, of course, these days for Alex Blake, but formidable striker of a cricket ball. Jack Leaning, Jordan Cox, Darren Stevens, Grant Stewart, Matt Milnes, Fred Klassen. That is the Kent lineup. As for Hampshire, well, they are power-packed as well. James Vince, one of the most successful batsmen in T20 cricket anywhere in the world. Alongside him, Sam Northeast, Joe Weatherly, Liam Dawson, James Fuller, Lewis McManus, Ian Holland, Chris Wood, Mason Crane and Brad Wheel. So that is the team for Hampshire. Mighty impressive one at that. Mason Crane was their leading wicket taker last year. Got a bit of leg spin in there, and then the Chris Wood, who I guess is the Hampshire equivalent of Alex Blake in the sense that he is a white ball only player these days. Brad Will's got a bit of pace. Ian Holland, the all-rounder, and as is James Fuller, who of course you played with. James Fuller back in your Gloucestershire days. Mustn't forget you not only played for Gloucestershire but won trophies there as well.
Yeah, he was part of the team that won the final. Well, that match at the final at Lords, which was my last match. So he's an incredibly talented young man. Bowls good pace, and this is his time of year as well. He loves the white ball cricket. He's he's death bowling, variations, that sort of stuff. That's him all over. And then coming to bat, he's explosive. Hits it to all parts of the ground. So I'm looking forward to seeing Foz, as he was affectionately known, plus some others. Sam Northeast, who I played quite a lot of cricket with. He's obviously moved down to Hampshire since his time here at Kent, and has been playing well. So it's there's some it's going to be a good contest actually. Two good sides that know how to play this format and want to get off to a good start. So it's all building up to be very exciting as they're slowly starting to hopefully make their way up.
Yeah, the players just starting to make their way down from the pavilion. And you can see the flats and the seats away to our left at the bottom of the ground. But just mentioned it, 5 games in a week. I mean, I can't remember the schedule being quite that crowded. I guess they've got the 100 to get in as well. There's a Royal London One Day Cup, and then the championship gets reconfigured, doesn't it, at the back end of the season when the groups become divisions 1, 2 and 3, so that the blast games come thick and fast. Just how difficult is it to keep getting up for games? Tonight, Friday, Sunday, and then you've got 2 back-to-back away games, albeit in the West Country, not a million miles apart, Taunton and Cardiff, but Tuesday and Wednesday next week.
I think it can work 2 ways. If you get onto a roll and a winning start, then to have those games so close together can really assist you and help you, and then you get up for it. But ultimately, it's having a bit of crowd will help. If there wasn't any crowd, that would be a lot harder. But the fact there is going to be crowds in at the ground, being so jam-packed, a few of the bodies won't particularly like it. As the old stager Darren Stevens walks out there, he's going to be stiff and sore. I'm not sure how he's going to fit any golf in those 5 days, but that's what he does. But ultimately, it is a lot of cricket, but it can help you both ways. You've got off to a great start and also to come out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, these games don't start till the afternoon, of course, so Darren Stevens will probably get a bit of golf in the morning. 5 games in a week, no problem at all at the age of 45. Well, the players and coaching staff are making their way to the boundary edge. I dare say with the Hampshire fans, Hampshire players are at the boundary edge as well, at the far side of the ground in front of the Les Ames. So important message from the ECB. Going to hand over now to Steve Watts, who's going to talk you through it.
Ladies and gentlemen, before this match begins, we ask you to join us in a moment of unity. Cricket is a game for everyone. There is no place for discrimination in our sport, and we will take action to stamp it out wherever it occurs. This is part of our commitment to breaking down barriers and making cricket more reflective of our communities across England and Wales. It's the responsibility of everyone, players, coaches, officials, supporters, volunteers and administrators, to create and foster inclusive, welcoming environments across all recreational and professional cricket. Standing up against any form of discrimination is a critical step towards making cricket more diverse and inclusive. We ask all of those who play, follow or watch cricket to play their part in building a future in which everyone can truly say, cricket is a game for me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And now please welcome the match officials and the 2 teams, the Hampshire Hawks and the Kent Spitfires. To open the batting for the Kent Spitfires, Daniel Bell-Drummond and Joe Denley. Six overs of power play to start the match. To bowl the first over at the Nackington Road end, Chris Woods.
So it's Chris Wood kicking things off for the Hampshire Hawks, bowling for the Nackington Road End. White ball contracted player only these days. It was Joe Denley just knocking it back down the pitch. A couple of weeks off for personal reasons, Joe. At 60 odd in the last match of the championship. And swats that one away to deep square. So Kent Spitfires up and running. Just how important, Geraint, are these two at the top of the order for the Spitfires?
Hugely important. You know, Joe Denley is, we didn't really mention him in the build-up at all, but you got to think he's a player who's got a hat-trick, scored 100 in the same match, has been incredibly consistent over the last few years, and getting off to a really quick start. These two are more than capable of doing that, and so yes, building that foundation and taking the most of the advantage of those first 6 overs as they can.
Chris Wood, can he operate? Not express pace, not a big swinger of the ball either, but he's got good skills, hits a line and length, and he's got those variations kind of out the back of the hand and cutters. And a bit like Alex Blake, when you're a white ball only player, you peak for this, don't you? The other guys have been trying to pace themselves to some extent to get through the first couple of months of the championship campaign. But he is raring and ready to go. Bill Drummond just knocks this one down to third man. He's also off and running.
I used to hate facing Wood because of those tricks, angle. But yeah, like you say, this is his time. He's suffered a bit with his knees over the years, so he's become a very skilled operator at this level. And it's, can have a bit of a build-up to this. I was here for Sunday, and Joe Denley had a bit of an opportunity to get his eye in, towards the back end, so that they have had some match preparation in a way.
Denley is smashing that one. That's going to be the first boundary of the 2021 Blast campaign, and it goes to Joe Denley. Just a bit of a flat back past the bowler. Alex Blake, I think that might be last year's picture of Alex Blake waving his arm around. Get used to that, people watching on the stream. Tired. He's only got a 2-month contract, Alex Blake, to play white ball cricket. He can signal fours as well, but yeah, a bit of a swat. But Denley at his best, top of the bounce. Flick this one away. It's just going to be the single just for a moment. Heart in mouth. Thought he might have picked out mid-on, but gets away with that one.
It is a reasonable start, 7 off the first over. But that wicket there, it looks pretty even bounce, to be honest. That shot from Joe just sat up a bit. So the wickets here, they've tried to get quicker for T20 cricket over the last few years. And it really will. These two batsmen like pace on the ball coming onto them. Joe's an incredible short ball player, so he'll be waiting for that ball to come through, zip through, and use the pace for sure.
Yeah, I guess when you've played Ashes cricket against the likes of Pat
Bowling
Cummins
at the
and Mitchell
pavilion
Stark,
ends,
Chris
number
Wood's not going to hurry you
58,
for pace.
Brad Wheel.
That's to not be disrespectful to his brand of left arm. Brad Wheel's got a bit more pace. He is quite sharp. But when you face kind of 94, 95 mile an hour, someone who bowls in the mid-80s, it's quite nice. So Wheel is in from the pavilion end. Denley is turning this one away into the leg side. Just going to be a single. Takes Kent to 8 with that loss.
Even that shot there to come onto the bat nicely to be able to Joe work it off his hip out to that fielder at deep square leg. So it's Daniel Boyle Drummond. He's been watching so far. Hasn't seen much of the strike. So it's now his turn to see what's happening, and he quite likes coming down the wicket a bit. So I expect him to have a look at 1 or 2 and then really turn on the aggressive play.
Attempted pull shot just on the pad. It's going to be a leg by. Yeah, fascinated to see how Daniel approaches this, because I was commentating for his 100 that he got against Lancashire in the championship, and he played really nicely. But other than that, he hasn't really scored the weight of runs he would have liked to. He's been finding similar ways of getting out. He's been either LBW or kind of nicking behind, which is how top order players tend to get out. But looked a different man in the T20 Blast last year. Uncomplicated. See it, smack it. And that's what Joe Denley is attempting to do. He's picked out mid-off on the bounce, and they might get overthrows here, but Hampshire's fielders scurrying to back up to prevent the single. But I guess when you struggle a little bit in the championship, to suddenly get an opportunity just to go out there and unleash, it can take a bit of the pressure off.
Yeah, and exactly that. He was did find himself under pressure, got moved down the order, and so the T20's probably come at a good time for Daniel, with changing from that red ball, and he's an excellent performer in the white ball format.
Denley goes up and over. That's a good looking shot. Has he got enough to go all the way? It's a pretty fast outfield as it runs away towards the Colin Cowdery stand. Couple of bounces, second boundary to Denley, who looks in good touch after a break of a couple of weeks and in a 60 in the last championship game against Northants. Trademark Denley shot, really. Clearing the front leg, still playing with a pretty straight bat, not hoiking it. It's a boundary.
Agree to a very polite applause by the it wasn't rapturous, but very polite.
As Will got an answer, this one smashed back at him. I'm not sure if that was a chance.
I think so.
Half a chance, because he absolutely nailed it at Brad Wills. Going to get a single. Probably just checking he's okay, but a bit of self-preservation by the bowler. Technically it will go down as a chance, but he's just happy to come away from that one unscathed, the bowler.
Yeah, he took it well, didn't he? Yeah, Joe has hit that right out of the middle, back at him, hip height. I think it is a chance if you could be harsh on him, but it just shows anything up that Joe's going to really look to hit hard.
Banging into the pitch, and scurrying through is Daniel Bell Drummond, who's going to double his tally. You say polite applause, I guess 6,000, 5,000, which I think what a full house is here at the Spitfire ground, but I think they're expecting about 1,100 tonight. I'll probably get a few more than that on Friday. Capacity in these COVID times, I think, might be around the 1,500 mark. Too many better evenings to watch a game of T20 Blast cricket than
Change
this.
of bowling at the Nackington Road end, number 8, Liam Dawson.
So you might be able to hear the dulcet tones of Steve Watts. Steve Watts coming down the microphone. He's just a few yards away from us. Speakers booming out that big voice of his, but change of bowling, Liam Dawson, so left arm spin straight away. Mixing things up is James Vince. You see this quite a lot, don't you? Spinners in the power play, try and get an over in quickly.
Yeah, it is interesting. You usually see them opening the bowling, so to come on in the third over when the batsmen have had a chance to look at it, well, you know, it is an interesting tactic for sure.
But Drummond is on the sweep. He's got a good piece of it. The fielder is on the boundary, but he's not going to get anywhere near it. That is the first maximum. Daniel Bell Drummond's straight into his stride. Couple of fours for Joe Denley. That is the first 6, and it was beautifully picked up. It was angled in towards leg stump, kept going on the slope, and nothing cautious about that from Daniel Bell Drummond. What a shot.
Very much a freebie, wasn't it? That's, like I say, they've had 12 balls to have a look at it, and then when the slow bowler just puts one, a nice half volley on the leg stump, Daniel will sit that down towards the flats. What I did notice was the man in the football jumper, ready for his Euros, duck under it. He wasn't leaping up to head, even if tried to catch that one.
This time he's down the wicket. He's launching this straight. Is it going to be another 6? It's another 6. Back-to-back 6s from Daniel Bell Drummond. So Liam Dawson, welcome to Canterbury. Welcome to the Spitfire ground. Probably thought, I'll just turn my arm over, get into this 2021 Blast campaign. Well, he started 6-6, Liam Dawson. Experienced man, part of that England World Cup squad, of course. What's he got by way of answer? Fuller this time, low full toss. Drummond punches it out to long on. They just jog through for a single. So 13 off 3. Dawson under pressure.
Bit flatter and quicker, that one. His first one was definitely had more air on it, and after hitting for 2 6s, wasn't letting get that one go away.
This one a bit shorter, and again a bit flatter and quicker. Denley just prods it back down the pitch. This time he's down the pitch and straight to mid-off. The shot at the stumps and a hit as well, but I think Denley comfortably making his ground. And that is the advantage, of course, of going down the wicket to a spinner. You've already picked up a couple of yards before the fielder gets interested. So quick between the wickets, these two, comfortably home.
Yeah, he's rapid, Joe, and that was also just slightly to the left hand of the right-handed fielder there at mid-off. So Joe knew what he was doing. Although it was a direct hit, good bit of fielding, but comfortably in. Umpires didn't even take a second look.
So 1 ball to come of the third over. Good start from the Spitfires, 29 without loss. Bell Drummond 15 off 7 with those consecutive 6s. And he's pushing into the onside. They do scurry, they think about a second, but don't see any need for any foolish running at this stage. 30 without loss. Kent Spitfires going at 10s.
Looking like a very good wicket. You know, the way that they were able to play the spin there and knock it down the ground with good pace, play across it. You know, if there's any sort of slowness and stickiness in that wicket, those shots wouldn't be able to be played. And then the shots they've also produced off the quicker bowlers. So it could be in for hopefully a bit of a run fest tonight.
Yeah, that's what we want to see in the 4s and 6s. We want to see plenty of runs. Having said that, you can get some very exciting low-scoring games, but I think the crowd, having waited this long to get to the ground and see some blast action.
Bowling at the pavilion end, number 22, Ian Holland.
Plenty of runs scored, so another change of bowling. This is the way of 2020. James Vince ringing the changes. Ian Holland into the attack. More than useful all-rounders. Been opening the batting in the championship. Has a couple of hundreds to his name already in the longer format. Danny Beltran gives himself room, and he has cracked that for 4. What a shot from the Kent stand-in captain. He just loves this form of the game, and 423 runs last year at a strike rate of 155. Well, that strike rate pales into insignificance compared to what he's put up already today. 2 6s. He's creamed that through the covers.
No settling there for Holland at all. Daniel Bell-Drummond loves playing through the offside, just gives himself a fraction, a bit of room, which has probably led to why he struggles a bit in the red ball cricket, because he's so comfortable doing it here in white ball cricket, and it's brought about a change of tactics. The keeper's going to come up now to try and keep the batsman in their crease, but it just first ball, bang, 4. That went like an absolute rocket.
And the batsmen do target bowlers early in the over, don't they? They like to get ahead of the game in terms of kind of where they're at in an over. 3 or 4 dots and pressure building. If you can take a boundary early, pressure is back on the bowler. It's a better delivery. Beltran stays where he is, just nudges it into the leg side and he'll pick up a single. And I guess the other thing with that aggressive intent, Jonesy, is that it pushes the fielders back a bit. They tend to hang on the ring, try and stop the boundary, and that means there's a single when they do bowl a good delivery.
Yeah, and also just looking at the field, they've got their leg side spread and everyone up in the ring on the offside. So Daniel's recognised that, and that's where he's targeted the boundary on the offside. So it's brought about another change where you've got deep, long on, a deep cow. So easy singles through the leg side for the batters to take now.
Denley's going up and over. It's another glorious stroke. Let's hear what you're saying about this pitch. Just coming onto the bat because there was no effort as Alex Blake's arm gets another workout. He's going to be a busy boy on that screen today. You think that was attempted slower ball, and it's just a lovely stroke, isn't it? One bounce, skims across the turf, but a classic lofted off drive. Just holds the pose. This one is more watchful, and Holland fields sharply off his own bowling. Glorious, isn't he, Joe, when he just holds that. There's no kind of breaking of the wrists. It's just pretty effortless.
Yeah, it is. It's very traditional, whereas you look someone like Butler now, the wrists have become such a big factor in this format. But Joe's got incredible power, being able to hold that correct shot.
This one not quite so attractive. A scrambling stop from Vince at mid-off prevents another boundary, but they pick up a single. Denley's 18 off 13. Beltran 21 off 10. Cracking start from the Spitfires. This is how they like to go about things. Power play, I guess all sides do. Just 2 men outside the inner ring, so teams go hard. Sweeping is Beltran, trying to beat the 45, the short fine leg. But, he does well. I think it's Wood, and they get a single.
Disappointed, threw his head back. He thought he had the ball very full, just got it a bit too fine, but he didn't have to miss that fine leg fielder by too much. But we finished the 4th over there, 41 for no wicket. It's a fantastic start, going at just over 10s, setting up for a 200. That, if in your first game out, 200 on the board would be fantastic. Give the bowlers something to work for.
Yeah, I guess there's a school of thought, isn't there? When you're out in the field and teams get off to a start like this, you don't panic because you know this can happen in the power play. Perhaps when the field gets spread and the boundary riders are in operation, you draw in a few dots up, you can start to build a bit of pressure. But Chris Wood is back into the attack from the Nackington Road end. Beltran is pulling. So just going to be the single. That man back at deep mid-wicket.
Yeah, that's, you see where they've sort of given them those singles there in order to protect strong leg side field. Daniel Bell-Drummond is really strong through that area in terms of being able to sort of play across the line a bit. So they've just blocked that up and opened up the offside for them.
Very early down the wicket. This is he picked him out? No, it's another 6. It's Joe Denley with a maximum this time. Down the wicket. Chris Wood saw him coming, I think. He went really early, dragged his length back. But he's not great pace, is Chris Wood. Canny bowler, and he's not going to worry you with that short ball. So even though Joe Denley was down the pitch, gave himself a little bit of room, freed his arms, swatted it away over mid-wicket. That is his first 6.
Dismissive, wasn't it? When you come down the wicket, you actually want to bowl a 2-bowl short, and that's exactly what Wood's done there. So perfectly in the arc, and that's the second similar shot we've seen like Joe. But wow, made a great noise off the bat.
Yeah, not sure if you could pick that up from the kind of microphones that we do have dotted around here at Spitfire ground, but yeah, it was like a gunshot, wasn't it? Which is kind of what you're looking for from a batsman's perspective, that real crack. Now, this happened a lot last year, ball being lost, but that was because there was no one in the ground, so quite often you lose the ball. But what happens there, that is behind the fence, I think, so that is the flats. So we need someone to come out into their front lawn and chuck the ball back, and now they've got to kick it all the way back to the umpire, because it's been contaminated by a local.
That's why they play football in the warm-ups, isn't it? Just for this moment. Did you see Mark Wood shout here? I think it might have been the Test match where he kicked the ball onto the stumps and called out one of his favourite Newcastle footballers from the past. It hit the stumps, to be fair, great bit of footwork, but not something I've seen. So having been away from the live games for a while, it's interesting to see all the nuances that we've got with COVID, isn't it?
Yeah, so what happens is the ball goes in and gets fielded by someone in the flats, or anyone from the crowd, actually, as Wood bowls again, and this one's turned to fine leg. They are going to get through pretty comfortably for a single as Brad Will does the fielding. So yeah, if someone from the crowd touches the ball, throws it back, then the fielders can't pick it up because of COVID protocol, so they have to basically kick it all the way back to the umpire, who will pick it up with a wipe the ball, and then they will throw it back to the fielder. So back to the bowler. So what I'm hoping is that the fielding side will get so good they could almost keepy up the cricket ball and just volley it around the field to each other. That's what will happen at the end of the campaign. As Wood is round the wicket, Bell-Drummond is sweeping. Can't beat that 45 man again. So either side, he'll get a boundary.
Kent Spitfires 50 in the 5th over.
So 50's up, 4.4 overs gone. Great start from the home side.
Casual thumbs up from Daniel Bell-Drummond to his batting partner Joe Denley. Yeah, incredible start. Just the platform you want first game in.
Himself some width. He's nailed that as Joe straight at mid-off. They've just looked up at the sky. Couldn't quite believe that he'd picked out mid-off. So he got hold of that one. Yeah, Kent had a couple of cracking games against Hampshire last year. So the first game was washed out when Kent were cruising to a victory total. But I think 5 overs needs to happen before a game can be completed. This one is threaded through the gap. There's going to be another boundary to the Spitfires. Joe Denley looking in ominous touch. He moves to 28 off 17. Daniel Bell-Drummond 24 off 13. So yeah, Kent were cruising. I think it might have been Zach Crawley and Daniel Bell-Drummond who were just smashing it everywhere. And then the rain came down before the 5 over cut-off that constitutes a game. So that was match abandoned, points shared, which seemed very harsh on the Spitfires. Ultimately it didn't matter because they qualified and they had their revenge down at the Aegeus Bowl when Zach Crawley got a fantastic 100 and they crushed Hampshire. So perhaps a sign
returning
that
at the
you do
pavilion
have teams that you
number
play well against, don't you?
58,
Have teams
Brad Wheel.
I don't know the exact kind of head-to-head record of these two teams in recent years, but certainly Kent had the better of both games last year. They started really well here.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said that the tactics of Hampshire of swapping bowlers just with 1 over's worked at all so far.
Yeah, Wheely's in and Bell-Drummond has just lofted that. Now that was the wrist. I mean, it wasn't the Joss Buttler fast wrist. It was almost an effortless, just lifted it over mid-on from Daniel Bell-Drummond. Just another glorious shot as we take a look at this replay. Just clears his front leg. And just a smooth swing of the bat. I mean, he tried to follow him, didn't he? But it was actually right.